All right, so yes, like you said, my name is Haley. It's nice to be here in front of you all, and hopefully we can get through this and your all's questions can be answered. So, first slide. There we go. All right, so first slide. If you've done it before, we do have some new rules, a few different guides on what to do, and contact information. So just kind of, I know that a lot of this is repeat of things you all have done before, but it's just nice to give you a refresher. Elections are year-round for us, but it's really 1 or 2 days a year for you all. So just, be kind to those around you, consider it. But if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or, just get my attention so that way we can answer your question, whether it be the slide we're on or 5 slides before. So just feel free to do that. And there's restrooms in the back if you need them. And if you need to take a call, you're more than welcome to excuse yourself and step outside to take that. So now we're just going to kind of go into, clicker. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So now we're just going to kind of go into some of the things you all are going to need to know. So first off, we've got the supply boxes. This is going to have a lot of kind of important stuff, but not super important stuff, but still important. So it's going to have your pens. It'll have stuff to cut any seals, paper clips, excuse slips, stuff like that. It's going to come exactly in a bin like this, and that's kind of what will be in there. So next we have the signage kit. So we kind of brought one today. This signage kit, if you're the DEM judge for your polling location, you and the inspector will kind of go to the polling location to do setup on Monday night or Monday afternoon sometime. This will be one of the things that you hang up that night, especially to help you all come Tuesday morning. The more you can get done on Monday night, the easier and less stressful Tuesday morning will be. So this is the signage kit, and as you can see and read right there, it lists all of the contents. Yes?
What if the inspector does not call you?
If the inspector doesn't call you at any point, you should contact us, and we will try and reach out to them or figure out a way to get in contact with them. But yeah, we've asked that all inspectors kind of try and do that pretty early. I believe tomorrow is their last training, so if they haven't reached out to you by Friday, actually by Thursday, go ahead and give us a call.
Okay. The inspectors are given all the contact information during their training.
Yeah.
So if they show up for training, then they'll have it. If not, they'll get it whenever they pick up their equipment.
Yeah. So next is the poll booths. So these are going to be delivered before that Monday setup. They get delivered by us. One of these cases, so this is a few cases, but one of these where the handlebar is considered a poll case, a poll booth case. One case has 2 poll booths in it. It comes with 8 legs and 2 partitions, and then the blue itself is that little desk area. So some locations will get 1 or 2 or 3. So that's what it looks like. You will assemble these on Monday. Again, the blue highlight is for the DEM judges. So as we go through this, just pay attention to any blue highlights or blue stars. But the DEM judges and the inspectors will set up the poll booths on Monday. It's going to make it a lot easier on Tuesday morning if you do it Monday night. And the things that come into your supply kits will be red pens and black pens. Red pens are only for workers. So the red pen should never, ever, ever end up in the hands of a voter. If you have to fill out a form for any reason, then that can be done in red pen or black pen, but red pen should never, ever, ever end up in the hands of a voter. All right? Mm-hmm. So we recommend that you put 2 black or blue pens inside those poll booths. All right, next are the poll pads. Your inspectors will pick this up on supply pickup day, which is this Saturday upcoming. And these are going to remain sealed until Tuesday morning. So when everyone shows up, they should be sealed. They are like a little yellow seal on this green case. Make sure that your poll pads obviously match your location. So wherever you are, it should obviously say that location. So Charlestown 4, 6, and 7, 4H. 4H has a few. So just make sure that those match. That's the best one I can give. So the blue, again, for DEM judges, poll pad cases should be returned on election night to the Judicial Center with everything inside of them. We're going to go a little bit deeper, but numbers need to match. The printer has a number, the case has a number, and the poll pad has a number. All three of those numbers need to match. And some of them will be labeled. So as you can see, this one is 9 Courthouse. This is an old picture, but some of them, every location will get either a cradle point or one hotspot. The poll pad will have a label underneath that number and location that will say hotspot included or cradle point in a separate box. So just kind of pay attention to those. Yeah. So here's the reference gallery for the poll pad. So on the left side, you have kind of a directory. So when you open the case Tuesday, you'll have the poll pad up there, just an iPad. You'll have the stand and the printer cables are under the stand right there, as well as the arm to hold up the iPad. You'll have the charger for it. This clear thing right here is the ID tray that slips onto the back of the case. You'll have your printer. If the poll pad case you're opening has a hotspot, the hotspot and its charger will be right there. So that's what it should look like in the case when you open it, as well as any poll pad cases that say cradle point or hotspot will have the poll pad guide for your location. So if you're looking for the guide because you're not quite sure how to do anything, that guide will be in the one that's labeled hotspot. All right? So on the right side, this is kind of going into the things that are important for you all to know, both judges as Dems or Republicans. So you might have to step in and kind of sit in the spot that clerks normally do. Clerks are obviously doing the poll pads and check-ins, but we just want to give you all that information for it. So the check-ins are right here in the middle top part of the screen. Tuesday morning when you unseal those and open them up and you log in, when you log in, you should check to make sure that all of your poll pads, the check-in number is 0. If it isn't 0, big issue, and you need to contact us right away. So next, top right, we've got more icons up here. So we have the envelope. That's going to be the messaging icon. We have a printer, a sink. Yeah. Okay, so poll pad icons. These are going to contain a lot of important information for your poll pads and the status of them. So as you can see, we have the envelope. This is the messaging and video call icon, and we're going to get into that later. That's something new this year. This is your printer connection, very important. We obviously want to make sure that your printer is connected to your iPad, so that way everyone checking in, their receipts print. Your sync status, this is the status of your poll pad sending information back to us at the courthouse so we can see how many people have checked in and stuff like that. And lastly, up here at the top right, just like iPhone or Android phones, you've got your Wi-Fi, you've got your battery percentage and stuff like that. So that's just something to keep, all of this up here is something very important to keep your attention on throughout the day. You don't have to be super strict and watch it the whole time, but every now and again just take a glance at it and make sure everything's green and good to go. Next are the auto marks. So again, this is something important for the Dem judges. We ask that inspectors kind of don't set this up on Monday night. You can set it up, but you shouldn't turn it on, essentially. It is a bit heavy, so if you and your inspector kind of struggle to pick it up and put it on a table, feel free to just leave it to be set up on Tuesday morning when you have clerks or more judges there. But this is essentially an ADA compliant voting machine. It's really cool. The inspectors get a guide on it if you have free time during the day. Some of you might be really bored and not have that many voters. But essentially this is to help anyone who might be vision impaired or blind. It comes with headphones that can read off the ballot to them. It enlarges it. This is Braille over here, but that's just to help them vote their ballot. And it'll mark it for them and then send it back out. So it's just important that you all know what that is. Next, this is super, super, super important for the Dem judges. So the black pouch, this is going to come in your inspector's document folder. This is what it looks like. Here's the lovely black pouch. So this comes with a bunch of things. So it comes with the name tags, obviously. Everyone loves that. Then we have the envelope seals. We'll go into that and show pictures of those in a second. Then we have the green seals, which are for this bag itself. And then we also have the machine key envelope. And inside of this will obviously be the machine keys for your DS200 and the auto mark. They will also have the ballot bag seals, which are new this year. And we're going to go into that in a little bit. But for the DEM judges, when you all go to return the materials back to the Judicial Center, it will have to come sealed up with the machine keys back in the envelope, the memory stick, which comes out of the DS200. This is an old one, so don't worry. It's not being used this year. And the results tape that prints from the DS200. So that's very important that all of that, you've got a lovely sticker right here to remind you. Those all need to come back to the courthouse sealed like this. So you can see that green seal. It goes through the zipper in this circle right here. So it's very, very important that everything like that gets returned and sealed up. You get 2 attempts. Please get on the second one. All right, so going back to the seals a little bit more. So ballot bag seals. These will be used. Hey, I got it. These will be used to seal the ballot bags. So this year we are introducing ballot bags. So as you can see, this one is labeled for the 4-H Center. Sorry, every reference will be 4-H because that's my polling location. So as you can see, ballot bags. Your inspectors will be picking this up. The great thing about this is that come Tuesday morning, when you all set it up, you will have to remove all unvoted ballots from the bottom of the DS200, and then you will put this in completely empty, inside of the DS200, and this, throughout the day, will catch all of the voted ballots, so that way at the end of the day, you're not fishing them out. Yes. So the red seals will be used on this bag. So you have a zipper, and it's got this bigger piece attached to it. Wrap it around. Oh, it also has wheels and a handle. It's like a carry-on. So essentially, those red seals will be used here. Your inspector will get a guide inside their binder that kind of shows how to do it. It can be a bit difficult. I've struggled with it. But it'll pop close like that. And then there's 2 slots right here where, oh wait, we go back. Yeah, where these red little prongs will go inside. Yeah, and it'll make a little click noise. So you get 2 of those, and those seals come inside the machine key envelope. Yeah, so lovely, lovely ballot bag. We're very excited about them. Next, again, I've already said and shown, green seals will be used on that black pouch after you have put the memory stick, machine keys, and the results tape inside. Your envelope seals will be used by your inspector to seal any forms, any spoiled ballots, stuff like that. That's more for the inspectors, don't worry about it. It's really important to note that they might ask you to sign this at some point. That is just so that way everyone at the polling location can confirm that it's being sealed. All right? So again, going back to the ballot bags, this is how I recommend putting it inside of the machine. Completely empty. I'm going to do this real quick. I recommend that when you put it inside, especially for the DEM judges that might be doing this with their inspector, you take this flap and you kind of fold it inside of the bag right there. That way it's not sticking out too much and it won't get caught on the door of the DS200. And so it will be emptied and placed inside the bottom where it'll catch the voted ballots. So that's what it looks like. Recommend putting the handle on the outside so it's easier to just grab and pull out. This, again, must be done on election day when the DEM judge and the inspector are present. Very important. Same bipartisan effort. All right. Next one. So the DS200s. We go back one.
Nope, did I skip?
You're good.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. So that's what the DS200s look like. I know we've kind of been talking about it for a little bit. They're the tabulating machines. After a voter's done voting, they put their ballot in. It'll take it. It'll drop down into the ballot bag. These are polling location specific. As you can see, it'll have a little thing that says the precinct right there. It's hard to see, but in smaller text, it'll say the actual name of the polling location. For the DEM judges, it is very important. One of the things you will do on Monday night setup is that you will be, when you meet with your inspector, the first important thing you all will be doing is opening the bottom door of the DS200 and checking to make sure that you have all of your ballots. So this will be for Charlestown 4, 6, and 7. You will obviously have ballots for Charlestown 4, ballots for Charlestown 6, and ballots for Charlestown 7. So that's 3 precincts, but because it's a primary, you'll have Charlestown 4 Dem ballots, Charlestown 4 Republican ballots. So that makes it, with 3 precincts, that'll be 6 different ballot types, all right? Some machines are very full, very sorry about that, but please, 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 it is very important to make sure, yeah?
I'm gonna seem like I'm a newbie here, but you keep saying the Democrat judge has to be there with the inspector. So you're saying then that the inspector is Republican?
Yes, inspectors are always Republican, yep.
Well,
Not
no,
all
they're
this
not
year.
all this
They're-
year.
right now.
It depends.
Right now,
Yeah.
for currently, in the present moment, they are all
Yes.
Republicans, yes.
Okay, I was
Until
Yes.
until that changes, yeah.
Yeah, so don't even worry about it.
Yes.
So my question is, you are saying only the Dem judge and the Republican inspector can touch these things
Not that they're the only people to touch them,
to get it set up?
but if you, I'm assuming you're a Dem judge, I'm assuming that if, let's say you arrive Tuesday morning and you're entering at the same time with your inspector and the ballot bag is already in there, obviously that's a very uncomfortable situation. We ask that you all, if you feel uncomfortable at any point, for any reason, whether it's signing something, ballot bag, that you step aside and call us. We can deal with it that day, but we can't do anything or change much if you tell us after the fact or the next week or anything like that. So if that does happen, please give us a call.
Because I have a concern for Monday night as well as
Yes.
the election day, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Please let us know.
Yes.
It's a lot easier for us to deal with things whenever we're informed at the moment, and we can fix it or whatever we need to do, as opposed to we really like the feedback forms that we've been using, but for issues, it's better to tell us when they're happening so that we can fix them.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen a couple hands.
Question, I apologize, I was reading when you asked yours. So basically, if it doesn't come the way you're saying it's supposed to come and it's already been set up, then we're to call. Because I
Yes.
would be uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, no, I agree. We also in the inspector's training, it is stressed that this is something to be done on Tuesday. So if that is not met, please, please, please call us. You've got an hour from, hopefully you're getting in at 5 a.m. You've got an hour. That gives us time to make sure other issues are settled and we can focus on something like that. It's very important. The reason that we're stressing that is not only so it's a bipartisan effort, but because we don't want anything to be inside of here when there's only one person watching, whether it be Democrat or Republican. So that is why it's very, very much stressed that it's a bipartisan effort to make sure this is completely clear and to put it in the machine. And the machine is completely clear. There should be no unvoted ballots in the machine at all. They all need to come out, no matter how many are in there. Very sorry. But yes, yeah. If you are uncomfortable with that or any other situation, please, please, please feel free to call or text us. You're going to get my personal number on here as well as Angela's personal number. She's not here right now. Yes.
No, last year was my first time doing it, and I got a call, I don't know who called, but pretty much all the workers showed up Monday night and took care of all this stuff. That's still okay?
Mm-hmm.
Setting it all up?
Yeah, the only,
Before
there,
I go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, you're good. So you all might have this in front of you. This is basically the list of literally step by step everything you should be doing Monday night, election day, and then the close of the polls, everything like that. So it said that what you can do to set up on Monday night and what you shouldn't do on Monday night to set up. So you should never plug in the DS200. You shouldn't turn on the auto mark. You shouldn't open the poll pads and set them up. But it does tell you what you can do, and the inspectors are told that. But yes, that is good.
As long as there is a bipartisan team there
Yeah, there was.
to see the specific things being done, then that's fine.
Yeah.
I've seen where the clerks and stuff will come to help,
Yeah.
just to do all the other stuff. But as long as the judge and the inspector are present during
Yeah.
these specific things, then that's fine.
And we've stressed to the inspectors that a few of the Dem judges out here that if there is an issue or a conflict with time and scheduling for Monday, as long as the inspectors let us know decently early on, which again, they should be making contact with you all pretty early, that we would be able to hopefully help in the case of setup not being able to happen. So I'm a Dem. The two other ladies in the office, Chrissy and Angela, are also Dems. So your inspectors know that and are told, figure out the time early, so that way, if we need to step in and help, we can do that. Yeah. Any more questions? All right. So next slide, yeah. So at the end of the night, the memory stick in the DS200, so that's the lovely little stick right here. It might be this color, it might be like a black and red one. They're all just memory sticks. So at the end of the night, this has to come out and be returned in the black pouch to the Judicial Center. Super important for the Dem judge since you'll be leaving and showing up at the Judicial Center. Sorry, I'll try and get that word out real quick. If you have two machines at your location, but you only used one, both memory sticks need to come back. We had an issue last election in November. We need both memory sticks. Not going to say that it's not fun to get in a cop car and fly out to a location really quickly, but I also don't want that stress. So if you have two machines, Renaissance or River Valley, it's important to know. And your inspectors have been told that as there are specific instructions for taking out which stick first. So don't worry about that, but yeah.
Is there anything special about pulling the stick out? Because I know.
So essentially, we ask the techs, the mechanics. So essentially, you'll start following the DS200 guide. You'll go through, it'll print the tapes, and once it's gone through literally every step and it's close to turning off or turned off and every step has been followed, then you remove the memory stick.
Is that for something that you pull your stick out too early?
Yes, that's what we don't want.
Please do not do that.
Yeah. So before Monday, like we've talked about, your inspector should be contacting you all as the Dem judges to schedule a setup time, as well as the key master for the location. That's very important. If you are the Republican judge, they should also be contacting you all to make sure that, they get in contact with you, you get in contact with them, have their number, know who they are, everything like that. So if you can see over here, if you're at these locations, just kind of step up here to me at the end of the training, just because the rules are slightly different with Greater Clark schools. Yes, so this is what we stress to the inspectors. Do this contacting sooner rather than later so we can help if there's any issues. Okay. All right, so Monday setup, we kind of talked about this already, but you're going to arrive, schedule a time with your inspectors, the Dem judges, and they should reach out to the key master for that location. Once you schedule that time, you'll show up. You'll make sure you have the correct ballots with both parties for each precinct. You'll hang the signage kit. You'll set up the poll booths. You'll move the machines to where you would like them, but you will not plug them in or turn them on. Then after that, you will call me. So there's my number. You can call or text me, either the inspectors or the Dem judges. Before you leave, though, you'll receive a confirmation from me after we have gone through a checklist, making sure that those things that we put out there are either done or confirmed to be done in the morning. The really, really important thing is ballots. That's truly what we're trying to make sure that. But that's for machines, that's for ballots, that's for everything like that. Yes?
We make sure that the inspectors understand that they have to print out a copy of the tape for the Democrats as well.
Yeah.
The machines-
argue on that.
The machines are set up to print off 3. One for
Well, I still
Republican,
had
one
to
for
argue
Democrat.
to get one.
Well, if that's the case, then
I got it.
give us a call and
Well,
we'll.
I got it, cause I wasn't letting them leave without me
Sure.
having one.
Yeah.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. So, like he said, when you do close the polls and you close the DS200, it will print off 3 tapes. One of those tapes comes back to the courthouse, much easier to say. It'll come back to the courthouse, then it prints 2 others. One can go to the Republican Party, one can go to the Dem Party. So, you're more than free to take that.
One quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got a letter in the mail yesterday.
and it was about poll watchers. And at the bottom, because I was kind of confused, at the bottom it said they could get a tape, but that would mean they have to be at the end there when you're closing up, correct?
Mhm.
They couldn't get a tape any other time.
Mhm.
That's my clarification.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So
So,
Who are
So,
the poll watchers?
poll watchers are issued from the parties. Poll watchers are.
Or the
they're given
media.
Credentials, yeah, or sometimes you have media that they can get them from the
Do they have to
election.
identify themselves
Yes.
They
prior to?
they are supposed to identify themselves as poll watchers.
They probably should carry that piece of paper with them.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. If
They,
can't
they
present
have
you-
to identify, if
Yeah.
you ask for their identification, they have to give that to you. If not,
Yeah,
we don't know who they are.
and we plan on printing out and sending in our the information that we send out. Basically, what the law states on poll watchers.
Yes.
They're not. Yeah. So there'll be some more information as we go. We're still poll watchers are kind of the law is vague in some parts, but pretty straightforward in some others. So we're doing some final clarifications
Yes.
on poll watchers. But we will send out information on what they can and can't do and what's required.
I would also love to see what you got in the mail, if you wouldn't mind. So after we've gone through that checklist, everything's good to go, especially the ballots, super, super important. Then I'll just let you all know that you're good to go, you're good to leave, and then you all can leave. So morning, all of the poll workers should arrive around 5 a.m., give or take, obviously, traffic, 5 in the morning for some reason. So do not park close to the building. Obviously, there's a caveat to this. If you are having to unload or help unload something, then obviously park close, move whatever it is in. But then you all are going to be at the polling location the whole day. You're not allowed to leave. So we just ask that you all park slightly away from the building. That way voters, they're coming in for 3 to 5 minutes and then they're leaving. So that way it just makes it easier for them, especially because some locations do have slightly limited parking. Dress in layers. So I heard the comment earlier that it's cold in here. Right now it feels great to me. So your polling location might be warmer than you like, might be colder than you like. So just dress in layers, bring clothes that you can throw on if you need to, stuff like that. Bring lunch and snacks. So obviously you're not going to be able to leave. You can have food dropped off for you. But bring food, bring snacks, so that way, you're not starving out there.
And let me build on that. Also, if somebody does bring you food, family, friend, they cannot sit and eat with you.
Yeah.
They can only drop off and leave.
Yeah. Sorry, you got to be.
So
You can only talk to
if
poll
anybody
workers.
does that, please let us know. We will
Yes.
straighten it out.
Yeah, they're not allowed to do that. So getting the polling locations ready. Inspectors will administer the oaths. This comes inside their blue oath book. They'll give it to everyone. Then the Dem judge will administer the oaths to them. If you have an issue there, contact us right away. We'll get that solved. So the Dem judges will administer the oath to the inspector. Then the Dem judge, inspector will start following the DS200 guide and startup instructions, as well as turn on and get the auto mark machine ready to go. Clerks and judges, the extra Republican judges, sorry, you all are basically paid more to do clerk stuff. So you'll open the poll pad cases while they're doing all of that. You'll turn them on, get them logged in, do all that stuff. Obviously, make sure check-ins are 0. Super, super important. Then they might ask you after they've got the DS200 set up and ready to go to help them take out all of the unvoted ballots. Every single unvoted ballot will come out. There will be none left in the machine at all. So after you take all those out, they might ask you all wherever they have determined the ballot table to be. They might ask you all to keep them organized and separated. They do come in kind of packing, like material that...
Shrink wrap.
Yes, shrink wrap. They come in shrink wrap, so to keep it very organized, I just recommend opening a pack the next time you need one and not opening 2 or 3. So, yeah. And then, the ballots will need to be neatly organized and separated by precincts and then by parties. So, super, super important. 6 a.m., you'll announce the opening of the polls. So, some helpful setup to... Yeah? Mm-hmm.
So how do we log into these?
So-
You have to log in.
For the poll pads, your inspector will get in their lovely, lovely document folder.
So there's a notification on that page.
Yes, they're going to have this pink paper. We'll have the passwords for the machines. This goes the DS200, the poll pads. If you have a Cradle Point, it'll also have that on there. But in the poll pads cases that say hotspot included, that will also have the specific poll pad passwords as well. That way you won't have to hopefully bug your inspector for it. But yeah, the passwords will be provided in 2 different ways. So more helpful setup tips, kind of keep the polling location organized. We recommend kind of trying to create a flow from the entrance to check-in to getting the ballot to voting and then to leaving. To voting, putting it in the DS200, then to leaving. Unfortunately, some places only have one entrance and exit. So, it might be a bit difficult, but just try and keep it as organized as you can to really reduce the foot traffic. Keep tripping hazards to a minimum, obviously. Arrange tables so that anything that does need electricity, like your poll pads if they need to charge, can have that. Every location gets a extension cord. If you are having issues, just let us know. We do have a bunch of extras that we could run out there to you all. But yeah, arrange it so that there's a flow, but you can also plug things in. Yeah. So next is voter ID requirements. So there will also be a paper in your inspector's binder that goes into this more, but this is just for you all to read and kind of know what the rules are around this. We'll cover it really quickly, but these are all of the acceptable forms of ID: Indiana driver's license, Indiana ID card, U.S. passport, or a military veteran ID. Now, you see the 4 necessary criteria. This goes towards, the best example is that I went to IU Bloomington for college, and if I were to bring my student ID, as long as it had a photo of me, my name, an expiration date, and issued by the state of Indiana, IU Bloomington is a state school issued by the state of Indiana, then that would be good to go as an ID. Now, with the expiration date, it either must be current or have expired after the last general election, and that is the date for it. It doesn't apply to the 2023 one because it was a county one, so don't even worry about it. That is the correct date. Yeah, we're gonna go to the next slide really quick. So, if the judges, at any point you all need to step in for the clerks, most likely the clerks will be doing all of the check-ins and stuff, and you all might be at the ballot tables handing out ballots. This is what the check-in process looks like. We're going to talk about the really important stuff on this. We're not going to go through it super in depth. If you are checking them in, there's a way to scan their ID. If they don't want to have it scanned, you can do a manual search. We recommend using the first 3 letters of their last name and the first 3 letters of their first name. The less letters, the better. It's going to give you more people. This could be if they don't want to have their ID scanned, or if they're using like a passport and it can't be scanned at all. After you scan it or check them in manually, it's going to show their address. You'll ask if this is correct. If they say no, you're going to send them over to the inspector. The inspector is going to help them fill out a form called the 412. When they do eventually get back in line, you'll stop the check-in process if they need to fill that out, if their address is different. But you can go back to checking in people while they're filling out the form. The inspector will bring them back to the front of the line. Then you can check them in and say address unchanged or address changed, and then did they fill out this form? Yes. And then you can continue through the check-in process. The next really important thing, the actual most important thing, number 3 in bold, because it's a primary, you will have to turn the poll pad around to them and ask them to choose the party. You, at no point, will ask anyone what party they're choosing. You will not click the poll pad. You will not pick it for them. You will not ask them. You will turn the poll pad around. You'll ask them to choose a party and then press accept or continue. I can't remember what's in the top right. And then after that, they sign. So right now, the way we have it for early voting at the courthouse is that turn the poll pad around, please choose your party, press continue, and then sign. So that is very, very important. No point, at any point, are you asking a person what their party is or choosing for them. All right? Yeah, so, oh, hold on. If they need to fill out a form for any reason, and your inspectors kind of go into what forms would need to be filled out, the inspectors are going to have an area in their mind where they would take someone to help them fill out that form or just kind of pull them away from line. But once they're done filling out that form, they go back to the very first spot in line. That way, even if they are mad about filling out a form, hopefully that calms them down just a little bit. So ballot parent organization. So some of you, your polling locations are small. If the ballots are at the same table with your poll pads will print the receipt from them, from checking them in. That receipt is going to have all that important information in it. You'll read that receipt to then find the correct ballot for them. You won't ask them what their ballot is. You're going to read that receipt, whether it be at the same table or if the ballots are at a separate table. All right? When you do find and locate the correct ballot for them, and we're going to go a bit deeper into the ballots in just a little bit, you as judges will initial the back of the ballots using that red ink pen that only you all get. Both parties need to initial the back of the ballot. Do not initial an entire...
Judges are gonna initial the ballots?
Yeah, they can.
Yeah,
Clerks,
send-
judges,
send
and
in.
inspectors.
Okay, normally the clerks.
Yeah, the clerks
Yeah.
are doing it primarily, but if you're stepping in to give someone a lunch break, whomever is doing that, they can
Gotcha, okay.
essentially stop.
Yeah, so there should be initials from both parties. So going back to contacting us if you feel uncomfortable by anything, we are telling you all, do not initial an entire packet once. This goes even farther. Do not initial 5 ballots ahead of time. Do not initial 10 ballots ahead of time. Do not initial even 1 ballot ahead of time. You should only be initialing a ballot when you are about to give it to a voter. All right? I know that this is going to kind of be, if you do get a rush of people, it might be a little tedious, but that is to keep you all safe. You do not want a ballot floating out there that you take your eyes off at any point that it's not going to someone directly. So if your inspector tells you to do that, please, please, please contact us right away. We are drilling that into their heads to not do that. All right?
So the judges, for our precinct now, the judges will be signing the ballots.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. As long as it's both
Could-
parties, it could be a judge and a clerk, it could be an inspector and a clerk.
So we can switch that up a little bit at the ballot table.
Yes.
If we need to, if a judge needs to.
Yeah, especially if, you're giving someone a lunch break-ish. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the main thing is that as long as there's 2-party initials there.
As long as it's a bipartisan initiative.
Yeah. So we're going to look at the receipts. So when you look at the voter's receipt, please, please, please double and triple check to make sure that when you're going to grab that ballot, it matches exactly to what it says. So, next super important thing. Once a voter has chosen their party ballot poll and the receipt is printed, they cannot change it in any way whatsoever. As soon as the receipt prints, that is the ballot they're getting. All right? If they have issues, if they're throwing a big tantrum in front of everyone, you tell them to contact us. All right? That is something that is an absolute hard line, cannot be crossed. Once that receipt is printed, that's the ballot they're getting. The poll pad, as you're going through, there's a lot of buttons you press. There's a button for go back or start over. But as soon as the last button, submit, is pressed and the receipt's printed, sucks. Sorry you weren't paying attention. So that is very, very important. So these are what the receipts will look like. This is mine. As you can see, my name, my address, precinct, and which party. So I should receive a ballot that says Democrat, Charlestown 4. Ryan, name, address, precinct, poll. Ryan should receive a ballot that's Republican, Jeff 40. All right. So going into the ballots, hopefully your table's organized and you're able to see these lovely red and blue strips on the ballots. So front of the ballots are going to show the precinct name. It'll also be on the back as well. Each precinct is going to have a Republican and a Democrat ballot. Again, once they've chosen their party and it's on that receipt, they cannot pick a different one. So if you have your check-in table and a ballot table and they're separated, they will walk from the check-in to the ballot table with their receipt. You won't ask them their party. You will ask for their receipt and read the receipt. After you have located the correct ballot, you'll take the receipt and put it in a baggie that says poll pad receipts. And that baggie comes inside the poll pad if you're stepping in to work on the poll pad. Back of the ballots. So back of the ballots. One clerk or judge from both parties or the inspector, as long as they're Dem and Republican, will initial the back of the ballot. Again, do not initial an entire packet once. Don't initial one ahead of time. So this is what that initial should look like. So obviously, Ryan as the Republican, his initials, me as the Dem, my initials, put your initials. Please don't put mine or Ryan's. As you can see, this isn't what Ryan's look like. This was my poor attempt on a computer. So, important note for voters that might ask this question. As you can see, the left is the Republican ballot and the right is the Dem ballot. They look slightly different. So there are certain offices that are running for, certain Republican offices that are running that Dems are not running for. So right now, the Republican precinct committeemen are running. The Dems are not. You will also know that right now, the Dem state convention delegates only run at large, but it's not on the ballot. But you have the Republican delegates at large as well as the district delegates running and are on the ballot. So, not enough people ran for the Democrat state convention delegate at large. There was no competition, so it's not put on the ballot. All right? That's just important information if you all get asked that. Okay. So this is really important for the Dem judges. These are some of the forms that might have to be filled out on Election Day. So pre-3, if someone needs assistance marking their ballot, this might be filled out either by someone with them or one from each party, poll workers. This could be a judge and clerk, it could be inspector and the Dem judge, something like that. But this will need to be filled out by whoever is assisting them. Question?
At my precinct, on the opposite party, I'm just curious. This is actually all that's on as the precinct committee, only one of them being contested, because I know there was 2 Republicans that were running for my precinct. This is really how it looks.
So if you have, there are a few precinct committeemen precincts that aren't contested.
No, this one was very.
Yes. So if it is contested, it'll appear on the ballot.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's vote 1. But you have the, if you're looking at the back of the ballots, there are the at-large delegates, convention delegates for Republicans. It's vote up to 14.
Okay, never mind, she cleared.
Okay.
She clarified. It's just Charlestown.
It's a Charlestown.
Yes, that's the Charlestown one, yeah. Like I said, I'm partial. That's the 4-H Charlestown 4 ballot.
Good. Clarified, the other will be there when I see my ballot.
Yes. And you can actually go online to our website, clarkcountyelections.com, and look at all of the sample ballots and every single ballot. So yeah, pre-3 ballots are if someone needs assistance marking their ballot. The pre-5, if we're currently having issues where ballots that got mailed out on the 17th and 18th have not shown up. That's a huge issue. We're trying to figure it out. So we're kind of, we've received a lot of calls. So we're expecting that there might be a higher number than normal people showing up at polling locations, that on the check-in it says that absentee ballots have been issued to them. They can still vote at the polls. It'll say absentee issued. You'll still click on their name to check them in on the poll pads like normal. But before they can vote, before they touch a ballot, they absolutely have to fill out the pre-5. So that's just something important to note, all right? That's very important for you all if you do step in and work on the poll pads, that they need to fill this form out. VRG 7s or 11s, this is just the regular voter registration paper. Some people might bring their kids and want that paper. You can kind of just, your inspectors will get that. You can just kind of call them over and ask for that paper. There's 2 numbers up there. Both papers are identical. The only difference is that the VRG 7s have something on the back that shows all counties and gives all voter registration numbers for each county and stuff. And some of the 7s don't have that because I just made copies and I didn't copy the back. So these are the exact same forms. They're identical. The 412s. So again, we kind of talked about this. This is the form where if their address has changed, if their name has changed, like if they got married, this is the form that they fill out. That's the one where you are checking them in. Address, is this address correct? No. Lead them towards the inspector, and the inspector will help them fill this out. Last is the precinct incident and accident report. Hopefully nothing happens. Hopefully no one gets hurt. But if that does happen, that's also a form. Again, this goes towards the Dem judges especially, but provisional ballots, we are not giving ways of or reasons why you would use one, because people like to use them when they're not supposed to. So before issuing a provisional ballot, you absolutely must call our office, and this is non-negotiable. We're not giving you all the reasons to do it because we want you all to call the office and follow the rules that you're supposed to. So once the inspector and our office have exhausted all search, all avenues, all guides, everything like that, then you will get the approval from us to use a provisional ballot. Approval for one provisional ballot does not mean approval for the rest of the day, okay? So it's a case-by-case thing. So you will use the provisional ballot after you've gotten approval for one for us, all right? You're good. So, how to fill out provisional ballots. So this is something super important that doesn't get done. It is very important that the provisional ballot, when it is to be used, must be completely filled out. If it's not filled out completely, which we lovingly highlight everything that needs to be filled out and also give you a guide of who's filling out what, if it's not completely filled out, their vote will not count. All right? So really, really make sure that if you're doing that as the judge, or if your inspector's doing it, that gets completely filled out. You're good. Once these are fully completed, inside of this envelope is the Pro 9. That just gives information to the voter that has to be given to the voter that lets them know the process of a provisional and what they have to do after Election Day to make sure their vote does get counted. So the next stuff is really more so just for the Dem judges. Sorry, Republican judges. So the form slide was color-coded. So there will be a few envelopes that your inspectors get. So right now we're on the green one. So in this envelope, after Election Day is over, the polls close, the pre-3s, all of the pre-3s, pre-5s, and 10s, and the incident and accident reports, anything that got filled out will go in here. Up here will be little boxes that you'll put the number of how many 3s, how many 5s, and there's only 110, are in there. And this will have to be signed by the inspector, and it looks like 2 judges, as well as the clerks. No. Precinct election, yeah, clerks. Anyways, yes, so this needs to be where all of those forms go into and sealed after every single form got in there, all right? And it says right here what goes in there, okay? Next, we've got the orange envelope.
Question.
Yeah.
Last one I worked with us for, I've never worked another one after. We had a kid come in who said he had registered to vote right at the end, and he wasn't on our list. So they refused to call down to the clerk's office to check, and they refused to let him vote because they didn't call to check. Because he could have been on the main list and not made it onto ours. So they never asked to do a provisional. They just turned him away.
So in that case, you are more than welcome to take that voter aside and call us as a judge. Even clerks are allowed to call us if they think, there's an issue with something. So in that case, just going off of that example, if they did it at the very end, most likely the process in an ideal world would have been that the inspector or judge would have called us. We would have looked through essentially the registrations that are sitting in our system right now, because the deadline closed April 8th or April 9th. And we'll be able to hopefully find them and see, you registered too late, you can't vote. And in that case, they would have to just leave. They can't vote because they weren't registered. Mm-hmm.
Those envelopes that you're talking about, I'm a judge, are we gonna get them when we get to the?
Your inspectors get them, so you won't get them, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the orange envelopes, it's going to have the oath book, that blue oath book. It's going to have the expense sheet, aka payroll. So really hound your inspector, make sure that payroll gets in there so everyone gets paid. The 412s, which are the forms for updating registration. And if anyone fills out the 7s or 11s at the polling location, they're free to take them with them if they'd like. But if they do fill them out, feel free to put them in here. That way, when registration opens back up, we can register them.
What is actually the job for the judges? Because this is the first time I remember doing this.
Yeah, so if you read through that, you'll find a lot. That kind of has, are you a Dem judge or a Republican judge?
Republican.
Okay, then essentially
There's a lot of information in there.
Yeah.
Right here?
Well,
Mhm.
yeah, where we were at now, if you go back and read through it, you'll be able to find out a lot of it. And if you have any questions at all, there's contact information on the back, and you're more than welcome to call us if you have any
Yeah.
questions.
And we are recording this right now, and we recorded the other judge one. So if you just want to, watch it back over right before Election Day, they will get posted to our website and through YouTube. So, yeah. Next is the pink envelope. So these are for spoiled ballots. This could be if someone, let's say they have trouble, like my grandpa had his hand shook. So if they accidentally mark their ballot and you all know and they know that it's not going to be read in the DS200 when they go to put it in there, then you'll mark spoiled on it. You'll immediately put it in here, and then you will get them an exact copy of that ballot. You won't spoil a ballot just because it's the wrong party, because they should be picking the correct party and they can't change it after the fact. As well as if they fill out the pre-5 and they have their absentee ballot with them and they want to vote in person, as long as you get that absentee ballot from them, put it in here, have them fill out the pre-5, and they can vote in person. All right?
You still write spoiled on it then too, right?
It's most likely, if it comes just the ballot itself, take it and write spoiled. The absentee ballots typically get sent back in like an orange, like manila colored envelope. Don't write spoiled on that, just put it in here. Yeah. Next is the manila envelope. So and let's all have a moment of prayer where we don't. If someone needs to vote provisional, after they voted provisional, it's been put in the provisional envelope and sealed, it will go in here. Do not seal this. Make sure your inspectors know this. If one person at 6 a.m. votes provisional, this does not get sealed. It can fit multiple provisionals in here, and it only gets sealed at the end of the night, okay? Super, super important. Oh, yeah. So, going back to the provisionals, so we'll do my Charlestown 4, mine. So if you get one precinct at your polling location, you'll get one of these. The 4-H has 3 precincts, so they get 3 of them. Inside are 3 Dem and 3 Republican provisional ballots. They are stamped provisional, so you're not accidentally going to make the mistake of, you'll know, it's stamped bright red provisional. These are sealed. They will only be unsealed, yes, after you've gotten the first approval for us from them. All right, so make sure that it's not busted open. At the end of the night, if none of the provisionals have been used, you don't have to unseal it to reseal it. Just leave it as is and send it back to us. All right? So close of the polls. So someone will loudly announce the closing of the polls at 6 p.m. If there are voters in line at 6 p.m., the inspector might assign a clerk or a judge to go stand behind that last person. Also, you will go off the time on the poll pads. We're not doing wristwatch. We're not doing clocks on the wall. We're doing poll pad times, all right? You might be assigned to stand behind that person. If anyone attempts to come up and join the line after 6 p.m., you have to turn them away. If they get real aggressive, you can tell them to call our office, but they weren't there at 6 p.m. Sorry. So, inspectors and DEM judges. So this is what you all will be doing during that time after the close, and everyone is done voting. You'll organize all the paperwork, make sure it gets put into the correct envelopes, and all forms that were used during the day. Then you will seal them with these envelope seals. So you get quite a few. If you're going to seal one, we only sign one. If we're going to seal 2 envelopes, we only sign 2. 3. You should not use all of them. We give you more than you need. This is just in case if there's an accident, but you should only be signing one that you're going to use. We're going to have a wall of seal shame at the very end. So after that, you will follow the close of the poll steps and the DS200 guide, removing the memory stick when you're told to / at the very end of it. The results tape will print. Oh, wait, this is not. These need to be switched. Sorry. You'll print the results tape, follow the DS200 guide, sign the tape, then you'll take out the memory stick at the very end, and then you'll stick both the results tape and the memory stick, after you've signed the results tape, inside the black pouch. Ignore that line. Then you will remove the ballot bag with all the voted ballots inside. Make sure that all voted ballots get out of the machine. There could be some that spilled over. There could be some that got stuck in the very back from dropping. All voted ballots and only voted ballots will go inside that black ballot bag. After it's been removed and you've confirmed that all of the voted ballots are inside, then whatever unvoted ballots you have, every single unvoted ballot will go back inside the machine and get locked in there. All right? So while it does make pulling out individual ballots easier, you still might have to get on your hands and knees and put them back in. Sorry. Then after you have used the seal on the ballot bag to put the voted ballots in there, you'll seal the ballot bag, you'll seal your envelopes. Lastly, once memory stick, keys, and results tape signed are in the black pouch, then you'll seal the black pouch. During that time, the clerks and judges are going to take down signage kits, undo the poll booths, report total number of check-ins to the inspector. Probably do that first because you're going to cross-reference that with your DS200 to make sure that you've got the correct number. And return poll pads and their materials to the correct case. After the inspector and DEM judge remove that ballot bag again, you most likely will be assigned to put all the unvoted ballots back inside. Super important, like you all have said, we've experienced everything. All poll workers will remain there to help clean up the location and will only leave after their inspector has dismissed them. All right? So if anyone leaves early, give us a call. Again, super important for the DEM judges. So, returning materials, everything that needs to be returned, poll pad cases with everything inside, hotspot, back inside the poll pad case that says hotspot, a sealed black ballot bag. The blue bag should have your supply box, the signage kit, document folder, black pouch, and your inspector's binder. Inside that document folder, all paperwork filed in the correct envelope, and the sealed black pouch, memory stick, tape, machine keys. So this is the next new thing that we're going to cover. So for our DEM judges that are here tonight, drop-off is going to look a little different this year. So you all are expected with your inspectors to arrive at the same time and enter the car line at the same time. You can have a car in between you all. If you arrive earlier than the other, you must wait until you are both able to enter the car line together. You will not be able to leave until you have received confirmation from us that we have all equipment and materials. Once confirmed, we will provide you with the certification of return of election materials. It's 2 pieces of paper that we need signed by both of you all. Inspector and Democrat judge must both be present at drop-off to sign the certification of return of election materials. So we're going to show you all a picture that I lovingly drew on. So this is what the new drop-off is going to look like. So as you'll see, those small little X's up there are where it used to be. So this year, it's going to be in the Franklin Square Elementary School parking lot. All right, so you can see the green lines are going to be the drop-off line. All right, so that's where once you and your inspector, if you're a Dem judge, have arrived at the same time, you will both enter. You can be in the same car, or you can be in each of your own cars. All right, you will enter that line. Then, when you get up here to this pink line and the lovely blue workers, we will, if you have the stuff in your trunk, you can pop the trunk and hopefully just sit in your car. We'll take everything out. We'll confirm that we have everything. Then we will bring up a binder and have you and your inspector sign. All right? So we're trying to make sure that it goes pretty smoothly, and hopefully we won't have a bunch of people coming up at once and everyone getting confused and discombobulated. So then after, it's also important to note, if your car's here and your inspector's here or back here or something like that, we are only going to help one polling location at a time in each line. So this one, we will only help whoever's car is up there at the front, and that one, we will only help whatever polling location's car is at the front, all right? Lastly, when you're done, you will exit this way. It's important to note, East 7th Street is a one-way, so you will have to make that left, all right? Now, if you arrive at different times for some reason, which hopefully you shouldn't, you all should be driving slightly at the same pace, okay? But if something happens, red lights, whatever, you will arrive, you'll most likely know, you should just make sure that you either arrived at the same time or you didn't. You'll pull off into the rest of the parking lot, that yellow, to wait for your inspectors to show up, okay? Once your inspector gets there, if you all would like to, you can have one of you park and then you can get in their car really quickly. You'll leave out the exit line and come back around and get back into the drop-off line, all right? Make sense? Any questions?
Is that gonna be the same way for the Republican?
No,
judges?
this is just Dem judges. So, super important note. This will not be fast. It's the first time we're trying it, all right? But it's going to be way, way quicker if everyone follows along, follows the rules, and goes along with it. We want to ensure that everything is done correctly. We want to make sure that we have all of our materials back, and we want to make sure that you all sign those forms. Not only is it protecting you all, it's protecting us as well. Those are state forms. Those are not some random stuff we made up. So again, if you have questions about this, it is a school, so don't be a weirdo, but feel free to drive past the courthouse sometime and just take a look. A lot of the workers at the courthouse sometimes park in there. But just, we're trying this year. We're hoping that you all can just sit in your cars and we help you, and you won't even have to get out and lift a finger. Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
And everybody tries to come off Court Avenue.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully everything will go decently smooth. We'll be able to, fix whatever issues come general if you all are working in the big presidential. But just be kind and patient with us. Okay, so last new thing. This year, with the poll pads, we have enabled a messaging and video call function. So, we talked earlier about the icons in the top right. The envelope one will be the one for messaging and video calls. So when you click the envelope, this little small menu will drop down. You can click Join Chat, and you'll come to this screen. On the right side, standard texting, all right? this is going to be the new way to get help with smaller, not super serious issues, okay? Hold on, I'm going to look at this. So,
Like if you need more receipt tape.
yeah,
You need,
so
stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
we need more forms for this thing, which you shouldn't, they're packed full in the binder. We need more receipt tape. We need a longer extension cord or more extension cords, stuff like that, all right?
Hey, hope your day is going well.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yes. So again, right side, just like texting, we will have 3 people in the registration office that are on the computers with this system pulled up. So it'll kind of show up as a pop-up on our screen. So if the issue does not have to be poll pad related. It can be anything from receipt tape, stuff like that. So if it does turn into something that needs a bit more explanation, on the left side is this click to start button. This is going to essentially work the same way as FaceTime or Zoom or Skype. So if it requires more of a visual explanation, we might ask you through the chat to press the click to start, and you might sit there for a little bit, but eventually we will join the call and be able to kind of talk with you all through FaceTime. Clerks or judges on the poll pads do need to be attentive. We might send you all messages first, so we're going to kind of cover the pop-ups in a second, but just kind of just make sure that you're paying attention to anything that might come up from us. They should all have their volume turned on, so you'll hear a little chime. Yeah, so we're going to look at the pop-up. So a message from us will show up as the top left, the message notification. So it says new text message from command. We are command center until I can figure out how to change it. So this is what that check-in home screen looks like. It'll show up on the top as a yellow bar. That quick view menu, when you press the envelope, if we have sent a message or if you haven't read a message, it'll kind of show up here. If you're annoyed and you've already looked at them on a different poll pad, you can just press mark all as read, or you can join the chat. The alert notification, if it turns into something super, super serious, so best scenario is that you haven't, your poll pads haven't synced back to the courthouse in a while, we might send it as an alert notification. This will darken the rest of the screen. And here, do not press OK until you have read the message and have followed its directions, or the directions might have to be followed after you press OK. But this is something where it's a bit more serious. Next, that's what the unread messages will look like. If we've sent you messages, you didn't get the chime, you can go and see that little number. Yeah. So when you press the click to start button and you're waiting for us to join the call, this is what it'll look like. So the poll pad's back camera will turn on, and when we join, wherever you can see the outline of my phone, that's where my face will be, and hopefully I'll join and be able to help you all. If we are calling you, this is what that notification will look like. Incoming call from command center. We kind of ask the inspectors to associate one specific poll pad to be the one that communicates with us, especially if it does require a video call. That way the other ones can stay working doing check-ins. But all notifications will appear on every single poll pad. So it's important that you all know that which one will be the one to message us and contact us. Because if you're getting a call but you aren't the one associated with accepting calls, you'll just press decline or you'll press OK and move on. Lastly, if you're sitting on this screen for a while and the poll pad turns off and you open it back up and turn it back on, if you get this, you can always press OK. It just means that the poll pad turned off while you were waiting for a call. Sometimes it might be up a few times. I've seen it where it's been there 8 times and you just have to keep pressing OK. Just keep pressing OK until it goes away. Yeah. So what not to do? We have our lovely wall of seal shame. So, do not seal empty envelopes. Do not sign all of the envelope seals at once. Do not initial all of the ballots at once. Do not issue a provisional ballot without calling us first. Not filling out forms completely. Bad. Not using your inspector binder. This is for the inspectors. You can also ask to look at it if you would like, because there's plenty of helpful information in there. So not using your inspector binder to find answers. Boo. Not contacting us when a voter isn't on the poll pad. Boo. Letting a voter vote if they are at the wrong polling location. Boo. Plenty more that I'm sure you all can imagine. Giving a voter a red pen. Boo. Don't do that. Yeah. So lastly, there might be a few of you all, more probably than not, that are not working at the location they would normally vote at. So if this is you, we have 2 early voting places that you can go to. So obviously everyone knows Clark County Judicial Center, courthouse. Great way to find out about the drop-off. If you're the Dem judge, you can stop by, get your vote in, drive over to the elementary school and look like a creep, and then go about the rest of your day. So we've got, this will go until May 6th, which is that Monday before the election. May 6th, it ends at noon. Every other day, it's from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We also have 2 Saturdays. So it was last Saturday. This upcoming Saturday will be the next one that we're open. Again, it's 9 to 4. This is also your inspector's pickup day, so you might run into them. If you live a bit farther out, this might be easier for you, or you don't want to deal with the parking, because I completely get it. I also don't like dealing with the parking. I show up an hour early to not deal with the parking. We also have another early voting location. This is going to go through the rest of this week. It ends on Friday. This is at the Tri-Township Fire Station. It is a polling. Yes, it is a polling location on election day, but right now, every single Clark County registered voter can vote there for early voting. So it's Monday through Friday. There's the address. It ends this Friday, and it's from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So slightly different time. That way it can accommodate people that work. Yeah, so again, your inspector's binder will have all of this information and more. It has a bunch of guides, everything like that. We ask that you all use your resources. While we are very, very eager to help you all, you most likely will find the answer to your question or get help quicker by reading through the guides, through the presentation. You're more than welcome to bring this with you on election day, than waiting on the phone with us or waiting for a text response from us. So please, please, please. Yeah. So again, we'll just kind of make sure you have on there, you've got my number, you have the office number, the second office number. This is our third person's desk. My number, Angela's phone number. These are our personal numbers. Anything super suspicious going on? County Election Board. Yes, please, 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 please call them.
Those are our cell phones.
Yes.
Please do.
So we kind of talked about it, but again, this is a literal step-by-step of what the day Monday will look like if you're a Dem judge, what election day will look like for everyone, and what the closing of the polls will look like. So please refer back to this. And the guidebook in front of you all is from the state. It has even more information, more answers, goes super in depth about rules and everything. We gave this to the inspectors and told them to put it in their binder. We are also giving it to you all. You are more than welcome to take it with you, read up on anything that could be weird that you're not sure of, and give us a call and say, hey, guidebook says this, but this person's doing this. All right? Please call us the day of if there's an issue like that. Please don't wait until the next day or the next week or the next month or the next election. All right, any questions?
Are they supposed to have the Republican judges at different night?
Both judges were here tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah, the Dem judge does quite a bit more, but yeah. Yeah. Any more questions? Again, if you are working at a Greater Clark location, so go back to that slide so they can see. It's going to be Charlestown High School, Charlestown Middle School, River Valley, Riverside, Jeff High, Greater Clark Admin Building, Parkview, Parkwood.
Would New Washington not count for that?
New Wash.
They were.
They told me when I signed it, I'm at North Haven.
Okay, you're good. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I know I'm forgetting something else. TJ. Did I get them all?
Basically, if you're a Greater Clark County school, just hang out for a second.
Yes, just come up here real quick.
I'm sorry?
North Haven, is that on 10th Street?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we appreciate everybody coming out.
by the new.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you.